7 a.m. This Dr. Majeed Dahiru in a matter of seconds. But I'm asked for some rumor or some statement or announcement by said to be from a youth excos that they're going to block the third mainland bridge at any point. They're soldiers there. When they announce that they want to block, if you want to announce it, don't mean it. Anyway, if you don't know what's happening with Orin Shoki, well, in our news this morning, it was reported that despite a court order, an injection training and demolition in that part of the state, at midnight, over 70 houses were demolished. Midnight, over 70 houses were demolished. Bring the names within Orin Shoki axis. But we hear that bulldozers moved in around midnight on the weekend and demolished the houses. And so, I got a news editor sent me a forwarded WhatsApp message saying, "CEO, it's what I saw," but we could not verify it. We don't know if it's true or not. As I sit here, I don't know if that message is authentic or not. But I asked for those of you on the roads, if you could tell us if the Orin Shoki axis of Third Mainland Bridge was blocked. And what I hear is that it's free as the air. What I hear is that some soldiers were sighted around the area, and the youth exco, if that is what they call themselves, nowhere to be found. Oh my God! Now, the issue is not a funny matter. It's not something to play with, which is that 70 houses we hear were demolished, or even more than 7 houses. So that's a serious matter. All right, that's a serious matter, and we'll keep our eyes on that stuff. Okay, see what the government can say. We'll hear from the government, also hear from the people affected, and all that. All right, that being said, let's look at what today's papers are saying. Please call 0201-277-0993. 0201-277-0993. That's the first number to call. Second number, 0201-465-7190. We know we've had precious little time for our listeners to participate in the calls or programs this morning because of the adverts. What I'm going to do, or what I've decided to do, is by 8 o'clock, we'll just throw the lines open and allow our listeners, call through, all right, talking about service chief's issue. That's what we'll do. Okay. In the meantime, let's see if we can get Dr. Majeed Dahiru on the line. Our WhatsApp number, if you'd like to use WhatsApp to be part of the conversation, 08095 975805. 08095 975805. That's a WhatsApp number. Please also feel free to send your messages, send a voice note of 1 minute or less, or you can call us on that WhatsApp number, 08095 975805. 08095 975805. All right, front page of today's Daily Trust. Farmers FG disagree over drop in food prices. Farmers FG disagree over drop in food prices. Already we hear there's rice everywhere. And now this. High rent driving us out of Abuja residents. Oh, they're just experiencing what we in Lagos have been going through. High rent driving us out of Abuja residents. High rents driving us out of Abuja residents. Killings. Nigerian Muslims also victims. Vatican Cardinal saying that one. Killings. Nigerian Muslims also victims. That's according to a Vatican Cardinal. Five teenagers die in Gombe boat mishap. Really sad one. Dangote refinery expands capacity to 1.4 million barrels per day. Good news. National Assembly Committee proposes creation of 6 new states. National Assembly Committee proposes 6 new states. And of course, And that is that inaugural ceremony of Air Peace Abuja London Heathrow service. All right, let's leave that paper to another one. 767 local government areas without active websites amid autonomy. 3 trillion naira yearly windfall. That's where the Guardian is going this morning. The Guardian. 767 local government areas without active websites amid autonomy. 3 trillion naira yearly windfall. Fragile structures egos derail opposition as PDP fumes, SDP splinters. Here we go. Fragile structures egos derail opposition as PDP fumes, SDP splinters. All right, more from the paper. Resident doctors begin strike Friday over unmet demands. Aidatua clears backlog of Ondo Poly salary arrears. It takes 62 signatures to pay one NDDC contractor, says Ndomagba. My guy is still there. Crush terrorism now. Nigerians ask or task new service chiefs. Crush terrorism now. All right, let's see if that will happen. We're expanding our refinery to 1.4 million barrels per day. Dangote, I'm the most happy person, the happiest person to hear that news from Dangote Refinery. I'm the happiest person. Trust me. NECA, man. Nasima rejects Senate's NSITF takeover. Oh my God. Warn against politicization of workers' funds. Say move to amend Act threatens transparency, violates ILO's convention. Oh wow. Workers' money. Yeah? Workers' money. So they want to take over. Well, we read more to find out what the exact story means. Despite court order, Lagos demolishes over 70 houses in Orin Shoki. We slept in the cold with our children, residents, landlords. Police deny violence during demolition. So people had to sleep outside. Let me read some more while we wait for Majeed Dahiru to join us from the paper. This is a very important story. Oh, is that page 8? Okay. It says, this is Vanguard, by the way. Confusion and outrage yesterday enveloped the Orin Shoki community in Lagos State after more than 70 residential buildings were demolished at Ajileru or Sosa Extension to Lualashe Streets, barely days after a Lagos High Court restrained the state government and its agencies from carrying out any further demolition. In a ruling delivered on October 23, Justice A.J. Balogun of the Lagos High Court, Ikeja, in suit number blah blah blah, granted an interim injunction restraining the Lagos State Government, Attorney General, the Commissioner of Fiscal Planning and Urban Development, and the Lagos State Building Control Agency, whether by themselves, their servants, agents, privies, contractors, or assigns, from continuing with demolition of properties allegedly belonging to members of the Siwaju Jumoni Community Development Association. And the judge's order specifically prohibited the respondents from creating any third-party interest or encumbrance over the said property, blah, 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 blah. All right, let's go. All right, so this is what's important to me. However, despite the subsisting injunction, bulldozers are allegedly escorted by security operatives. All right, so the security men also need to answer as to why they defy the court order. They do this all the time. Security men will follow Yahoo boys. Security men will accompany kidnappers. Security men will accompany fraudsters. Even Ponzi scheme operators, security men, policemen will still protect them. Yeah? Then you see them fighting themselves. I don't know, man. Something is wrong. So it says, however, despite the subsisting injunction, bulldozers allegedly escorted by security operatives rolled into the community around midnight on Saturday, while people were asleep, pulling down houses and displacing hundreds of residents, including the elderly, pregnant women, and children. We slept in the cold with our children, residents, landlords. Eyewitnesses said the demolition team operated under the cover of darkness, pulling down structures that had been spared in earlier phases. This is what the paper quotes one Mr. Adewale, who's a landlord, as saying. Our homes were demolished in the middle of the night without warning. Despite the court injunction, people slept outside in the cold with their children. This is inhumane. Another heavily pregnant resident who identified herself as Denike simply described the experience as traumatic. They told us the court had stopped the demolition, so we stayed. But at around 1 a.m., bulldozers came again. I ran out barefooted with my children. We lost everything. Okay, I think we'll leave it at that. That captures the essence of this story by Vanguard. 99.3.
Take my word for it.
Hello.
From.
Yes?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Please go.
Yeah, Kofi, this is unacceptable. What government
What's
do we have?
what's your name, sir? Sorry.
The merchant man calling from Osho, the heartbeat of Ocean.
Right.
What kind of government are we running like this that the government is just taking everything the way it feels it must go with it? How can you demolish people's houses in the middle of the night, even in the standing face of court order? It is acceptable. We have transformed to a pure banana republic. Why can court give another government from federal to the state break court order? What kind of country is this? How can you are sleeping? Oh, only God is in heaven to watch it. This is abomination and atrocity on the citizens of
All right, Measurement, thank you. Your line isn't too clear. I kept calling, but I think we will make sense of what you're saying. Thank you very much.
Kofi Bartels, yeah. On to Felix from Ikorodu. Kofi Bartels, what is going on in this nation? Demolition people's houses, despite court order. What is happening, Kofi? Why are Nigerians keeping quiet? This is inhuman treatment. Is this how to govern people? The people you are governing, you are subjecting them to pain and mental torture, and you still expect them to vote you in, and the government is also paying their ears, behaving as if they don't know. Instead, they suppress you with military forces. This is nonsense, absolute nonsense. Nigerians should wake up and see the palms of their hand, whether it's clean or not. Let them react. Let's react. This should stop. It should stop. It's inhuman treatment to Nigerians. They should not accept this. Are they animals? Even inanimate objects.
Okay.
React.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate calling. We'll put a call through to any official we can get to see, from Lagos State government, to see if there's because there's what we call the danger of a single story. So Lagos State government also needs to come out clean and tell people, okay, this is what happened. Maybe they're not even aware of this.
Good morning.
Yes, welcome.
My name is Indubisi, calling from Ichaniki.
Welcome.
Oga Kofi, even though if you dash me a land here in Lagos free, give me block, give me cement free, I don't go build house for this Lagos. I can never put one block in this Lagos. The way Lagos State government and Nigerian government treat people in Lagos is unfair. It's unfair. This guy had condition. People are looking for what to eat. They are going to break their house. Where would they start? This government is a very wicked government. When I was in Manapo, where we are living is a government quarter. When government wants to make use of that place, they went to that place and develop on that place for us. Because they give us notice and we can relocate to such a place. They want to make use of that place that we are staying. That's how government treats people. Nigerian government treats people like animals. They're animals. Treat people like animals. It's not good. It's unfair.
Thank you for
it's unfair.
Okay, take it easy. 99.3.
We are in the era
Hello. Your name, sir. Your name, your location, and then your contribution. All right, don't do that. Then when you call, give me your name, location, and contribution, please. 99.3.
Yeah, Mr.
Yes.
My name is Emmanuel, calling from Oba.
Please go.
You see, we will continue to say it. Anything bad is bad. I don't understand why government will go and demolish people's house by 1 a.m., irrespective of the situation. It is inhuman. I don't really know what is happening in this country, mostly in this Lagos state.
Right.
And we keep kind of praising these people. We kind of, it is bad.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, sir. I appreciate you calling. Glad we have Dr. Majeed Dahiru on the line. Majeed, good morning to you. Sincere apologies for the initial mix-up. Good to have you.
Yeah.
New week, new drama. New week, new drama. Yes. Anyway, let's start with proceedings. Let's start proceedings with today's Daily Trust, which seems to be more of an expert paper in your part of the country. You're joining us from Abuja.
Yeah.
It's talking about the federal government and farmers disagreeing over drop in the price of food items. In fact, in the news, we've been hearing that the price of rice has crashed in markets around the country, including Lagos, and some of our listeners have been speculating as to whether it's a real crash or it's customs releasing smuggled goods and all that. But what the paper says, that farmers and the federal government are disagreeing over the recent drop in prices of food items. Many of the farmers and their associations who spoke to Daily Trust cited what they described as massive importation of food items recently approved by the government as a cause of the crash. But the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security is attributing the development to various incentives introduced by the present administration to boost local production. Who do we believe?
No, it's commonsensical. It's common sense economics. Why was there a spike in the price of food items in Nigeria? A sharp rise. It was because, again, of the twin policies of subsidy removal on petrol and the flotation of the naira, which sent the naira downhill against major world currencies. So the combined effect of these two policies was such that it increased the cost of production. So, for instance, what it will cost the energy input in food production, because energy is a major input for food production. You need all forms of energy, from petrol to diesel to gas to electricity, to actually cultivate, produce, process, and store food. So when there's a rise in the cost of energy, invariably, it will lead to a rise in the price of food on the shelves. Now, for the importation of critical components for food production as well, spare parts, tractors, and fertilizers, and all of that, the devaluation of the naira, or should I say the depreciation of the naira, also meant that more naira we put together to buy the same quantity of inputs that are imported, meaning that in overall economic sense, the cost of producing food has risen in Nigeria. Now, to bring down the cost of production of food so that the price itself can come down, would have been for the government to look at these policies that it put in place. Rather, it opened up the borders and allowed for importation. Meaning that even if the local farmers will now sell just to compete with imported food items, it will be at a loss to their own cost of production. And the danger is that they may not be able to go back to farm next year to cultivate food. And Nigeria will now fall back to relying almost entirely on imported food items. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The question is, why will imported food be cheaper in Nigeria, on Nigerian soil, than the one that is cultivated right here in Nigeria? Because the answer is very simple. The countries of origin of these imported food items are doing the right opposite of what the Nigerian government has done. In countries like India, countries like China, countries like Thailand, countries like the United States of America, food production is heavily subsidized by the government in billions, if not combined, trillions of dollars. Production. Secondly, energy in all of these jurisdictions for the purpose of food production is heavily subsidized, heavily, because of the end goal of food security. And what is food security? Just like energy security, food security means availability, accessibility, and affordability of food for citizens.
All right.
It's a primary responsibility of government.
All right.
So what I'm saying in essence is, rather than doing what these other countries have done in their own country, that has made it possible for them to cultivate a bag of rice, ship it all the way to Nigeria, and to be cheaper than what was cultivated in Kano, in Katsina, or Kebbi here, we are allowing importation.
Okay.
So the lesson we are not learning from this is, what is it that these other countries have done right that we are doing wrong? And then correct it in our fiscal and other economic policies so that we can also compete both at home and abroad. And we're not doing that.
All right. Anyway, so the gains of Buhari's rice pyramids are gone. Let's leave that for another day. Killings, Nigerian Muslims also victims. Vatican Cardinal. Of course, you know the report. This
argument back and forth is so necessary. My point is this, simple. If Christians are killed by jihadi groups, by terrorist groups, and Christians have tried to speak up to say, look, we've had cases where we are targeted because of our faith. And I give one good example. In our war, we saw elements of ISWAP going into the church to massacre people. Now, if Christians are not comfortable with being massacred by ISWAP and other such jihadi groups, and are speaking out to say, look, the numbers are growing, and we fear a genocide might be taking place. Don't forget, genocide is reported in the past tense, because while it is happening, you may not know it's a genocide. It's when the numbers actually grow and accumulate that you now report that since so and so time, a number of people of this faith, creed, or race, or ethnicity have been killed by so and so group. Now, if the Muslims that have also been killed by some of these other jihadi groups who do not consider them Muslims, underline this statement, sir. The Muslims that have been killed by Boko Haram and other such jihadi groups are people that are not considered Muslims in the consideration of the jihadi groups. Meaning, for not being a good Muslim in their consideration, those of us that are considered nominal Muslims are also endangered species. We are also undergoing what eventually might become a genocidal killing in the hands of these jihadi groups. But if we, the Muslims, have decided to take it, and we are comfortable with it, and we are not complaining, allow the Christians to complain in peace. This attitude of Muslims jumping in to counter Christians when they say that we are being killed, and say, which you are being killed. If you are enjoying the killing, those that are not enjoying are saying, we don't want to be killed anymore. So this stunt of bringing a cardinal from the whatever, or from the Vatican to come and now say, Muslims are Christians are being killed, does not help the case of either groups.
All right. Majeed,
you are in this country in 2014, when Mutalanyako, a sitting governor of Adamawa State, accused Jonathan government of sitting idly by and doing nothing. In fact, almost accused the government of being complicit in what Mutalanyako described as genocide against Muslims because of the heightened killings in the northeast by Boko Haram. Nobody crucified him for that. Nobody shouted him down. But the only thing I can add, the only thing the government should add, simple is, why there are indeed traces of targeted killings, the government is not sitting down and not doing anything about it. The government is not complicit. The government is working day and night to combat this evil, and it is true, because those who killed Christians in the church and our work are right now being prosecuted by the government of Nigeria.
Okay, let's move on.
An entire military operation is in place in the northeast to combat ISWAP.
Okay, let's move on.
So
I want
the United States is combating it effectively.
Yeah, I want you to tie that, even though the front pages don't have, at least the ones I have, do not have anything on that. I'd like you to tie that to the appointment or the rejigging, let me say, of service chiefs, because at least 2 of them were retained, with one given a new portfolio.
No, I think it's overdue. These are routine exercises in the leadership change of the high command of the armed forces at the discretion of the president. I think for me, service chiefs should not spend more than 2 years in office, so that they can bring in fresh energy and fresh vigor to the job, except where they perform exceptionally well. But if it's just routine performances, as we have seen, following the rule books of combat engagement and all that, I think it's not that really. And as for the Cost 39 that's just been retired, they have been in service now, as I did say, for 33 years. And if you add their NDA years, 5 years, that is 38 years. They've served the country for 38 years. But for service, it's 33. And they've wanted to retire at 35 years. So they're also 2 years short of their due retirement date. However, some of them are clocking 60 by early next year, because I mean, somebody that has been in service for like 33 years, even the age is catching up. So which one comes between 60 and 35, they're supposed to retire. So for me, they have served. Most of them have been on the Major General rank for 6 years. Yes. So they've been fortunate. They've had 2 service chiefs. Now they will have a service chief that is going to be left behind as Chief of Defense Staff and Chief of Defense Intelligence as well, who is also from that course 39. So I think it's just routine, really. Once you attain 30 years in service across any cadre, anything can happen at any time for you to retire. What is important is you are retiring with your full benefits, with your pension, your gratuity, and you go home and now start a new life. So there's nothing wrong with it, really. It's just routine, and this particular one for me is very much in order.
All right. Ongoing National Assembly Constitution review. The Joint Committee proposing 6 new states. They've not picked the 6 states yet. 1 for each geopolitical zone, meaning that everyone will have 7 states.
I don't support that.
Yeah. Okay. Why?
I don't support that. Nigeria should shoot that down. 6 more states on whose behalf, on whose benefit, for whose benefit? For the continual benefit of the ruling elite. What have we benefited from the 36 state federation structure of this country as citizens of Nigeria? I want to know. And Nigerians must understand that federalism, or whatever we call it, is not a silver bullet to solve any nation's problem. There are countries that are even unitary that are doing far better than the best of federal structured states. In Nigeria here, for instance, I've already made the argument. You will agree with me, sir, that federal institutions, federally administered institutions, including the FCT, perform far better than what we have at the state level across the country. From the judiciary to the legislature and to even the only state in Nigeria that is federal administered, FCT Abuja, where I live, is the most successful subnational government in the entire country.
More successful than Lagos? More successful than Lagos?
Yes. Particularly in land administration, where institutions work, where nobody tells you that you're not an indigene of Abuja, where nobody tells you that you can't be anything in Abuja. Abuja is the center of unity. The strength of Nigeria is in Abuja, where all ethnicities, all religious groupings, all sections have come together and have been wedded into a pan-Nigerian city-state. No harassment, no monile. We don't have any of such crises where anybody can win election freely and fairly, because all hands are on deck to ensure that we protect the city-state. Where land is administered by the government, acquired from the indigenes, and planned and developed for the purpose of economic development of all of us that are living in Abuja. Where their budgetary allocation is not as big as some of those other states, but come to Abuja and see the massive infrastructure that has been deployed. Some of the roads we ride on in Abuja here for free, if they're in Lagos, it will be told. We take it for granted here. Come and see this street with modern infrastructure, underground drainage system, underground lighting system, multiple dual carriages. That's what we have in Abuja. That is the most successful state in Nigeria, with one of the most standardized judiciaries, one of the most standardized civil service structure.
Okay, so
that takes care of the public without any hindrance.
We have to
look in Abuja. Abuja is so effective that if you dig a hole in the ground without authorization, 24 hours later, authorities are there.
All right. Majeed, we have to leave with that.
It's territory.
In other words, you're saying
Wiki. So I want to get those states.
In other words, you're saying Wiki is working. Let's leave it at that.
All the institution makes every minister work.
All right.
You can't but work.
Okay.
Every institution.
Thank you, Majeed. It's been a pleasure having you, and can't wait for next week, next Monday, so we do this again. You've given us a lot of food for thought as regards the most successful state or subnational in the country. Dr. Majeed Dahiru is a Nigerian 4 analyst right here on Dailies today. Thank you for your time. So have a great week.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, fantastic. I'm Kofi Bartels. We'll take the news at 8. When we return, we'll continue taking your thoughts on the situation in Orin Shoki. Like I said, we want to give our listeners ample opportunity to have their say on what matters to them. Please stay with us.
It's 8 o'clock. The news update on 99.3 Nigeria Info. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.